Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be predicting the scores of week 36 of the 2020-2021 Premier League season. Now, at the time of recording, it is Wednesday, the 12th of May. There are still games going on for week 35, 3 matches left, so we won't be able to bring you the full predictions table in this video, but we'll see how you're getting on. But Nathan, before we do get on to this week's predictions, how did we get on so far in week 35?
So far I've done actually pretty well. I've got 9 points with 2 perfect scores, that being Crystal Palace to win 2-0 against Sheffield Wednesday and Burnley to relegate Fulham 2-0.
Yeah, I feel like as though I could have done a lot better last week. Just a 1 perfect score with Leicester beating Manchester United 2-1 at Old Trafford. Tiji Vagese, who represented the viewers last week, has had 2 perfect scores. The Crystal Palace versus Sheffield United result and the Leicester City away win against Manchester United. Now, as I said, so far, still in the middle of game week 35, but as you can see, if you can spot yourself on the screen, scrolling down, there's quite a few people who have actually got over 10 points so far this week. See if you can spot yourself. But top scorer at the moment with 14 points is Robert Waldron. So far, Robert, congratulations. But you've got the likes of Tiji Vagese, Simon Ford, Malogo, Lewis Willard, etc, etc, etc. But as I said, we'll bring you the top scorer and league tables in the predictions in game week 37. But for now, let's just crack on, make some predictions for game week 36.
So last week there was a whopping 15 predictions to predict. This week a measly 8. Why on earth were there 15 last week? We do not know.
But we got the FA Cup final coming up on Saturday as well.
Exactly, so that's 1 down. But then again, there's still 2 teams missing there. Anyway, first up we have the 8 o'clock on Friday between Newcastle and Man City. Man City have just won the title after Man United did lose last night against Leicester 2-1. So they could go easy on this. They could rotate and change up their team before the Champions League final, which looks like it's now going to take place in Portugal, from what they're saying on the news today. But this should be a standard Man City win. They're going to probably experiment with systems, so I'm going to go for 2-0
to Man City.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I think Manchester City are going to win this as well. Newcastle have been a tough nut to crack recently. They've only lost once in their last 6 fixtures. However, they've only won once at home since the 6th of February, so home form hasn't actually been that great. Callum Wilson is out now, looks like for the rest of the season with a hip injury. Probably Manchester City will rotate. However, the abundance of talent, as we've said time and time again this season, is absolutely immense in that squad. I think Newcastle will keep it tight, but I can see the quality shining through, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win to the Citizens. Next up, the first fixture on Saturday, which takes place at 12:30 live on BT Sport in the UK. We've got Burnley coming up against Leeds United, one of the toughest fixtures to predict this game week. Leeds United won the reverse fixture earlier in the season 1-0. I think there won't be many goals in this one either. Burnley having an excellent 2-0 away victory earlier this week against Fulham, who have now been relegated, and Leeds also had a very good home win, you'd have to say, over Spurs. Lots of people would predict a Spurs victory in that one, so tough one to call, could go either way, but I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. Woods is in fantastic form for Burnley. Leeds looking very... I'm going to go 1-1. Yeah, 1-1 to me. I think it will be a draw. It could end up as Desmond's, but I'm going to go for 1-1.
Yeah, Burnley are just going to grind out a simple goal in this one. They are obviously safe now, so they could just experiment for the rest of the season. Could go well, could be a disaster, who knows? And I imagine Bielsa still got something to play for. Leeds trying to push into that top 10, maybe go above Arsenal. I mean, they've only lost 1 game in 6. I think it can be tight though, 1-1 like you. Next up we have the joint second worst defence in the Premier League this season from Southampton, and they're going up against a relegated Fulham. once again, both teams are probably going to experiment, since we have I think we have about 3 games left this season. Both of them have nothing to play for because all 3 teams have been relegated early on. But Southampton, I don't know, something just sticks out to me with Southampton in this one. They did get a very good win, quite a surprising one, 3-1 against Crystal Palace, who have been playing quite well recently. And I think that momentum is going to continue, and I think they're going to beat Fulham 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
And you know what, Nathan? I'm going to go exactly the same as you. I am going to go for a 2-1 scoreline. Southampton, very impressive with a 3-1 victory against Crystal Palace. I think Palace went up with ahead in that match with a Benteke goal, who scored in his last 2 fixtures as well. Fulham, doomed, dead and buried. You're probably going to see them come back up again next season with the amount of money they've got. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win for the Saints in this one. Next up, we got Brighton coming up against West Ham. Now, Lewis Dunk and Neil Maupay both suspended for this fixture. Yeah, they were both sent off in that game against, I think it was Wolves they played, wasn't it? So West Ham, okay, they are currently in 5th position. If they want to get into that top 4, then they're going to have to win probably their last 3 remaining fixtures. They've only won once in their last 3 fixtures, which is surprising really after the fantastic run they had been on. But I think with Brighton, okay, they do make it tough for other teams, but with Lewis Dunk missing from the back, I think West Ham are going to score a couple of goals in this one and keep a clean sheet for the first time in absolutely ages in this one. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 away win to the Hammers.
I've gone exactly the same as you.
Really?
Again, Brighton got to be the most inconsistent team in the Premier League yet. West Ham, they're starting to drop off a little bit now. I think they're 1 win in 4 now, so that's quite patchy form, but surely they got to beat Brighton to stay within a few points of Chelsea up there. So I'm going to go for 2-0. Next up, we've got Crystal Palace, and they're going up against Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa, another team like Leeds, who are going to try and push to get into that top 10, even though the 2 wins in 6, quite patchy form there as well. Crystal Palace losing quite a few games that they're running out to the end of the season, nothing really to play for there. Beating teams like Sheffield United, but apart from that, losing everything else. I've got a feeling Roy's going to go at the end of the season and retire, so it'll be interesting to see how they turn out next year. But Villa, I think they've got it, 2-1.
Do you know what, Nathan? I have gone exactly the same as you. Again, 2-1. It is a difficult one to predict. However, looking at Palace's form in their last 6 matches, losing 4 of those games, beating Sheffield United and an away draw against Everton, which is fairly good. But I've got a feeling that Villa away from home have been pretty decent this season. They have only had 2 victories in the last 6 themselves. Jack Grealish coming back to fitness, but I don't think he's going to be ready for this one. He may feature on the bench, but it's a bit of a doubt that he's going to make the Euro squad now, so he really needs to get back in and play some competitive matches if he wants to get into that England 26, I think it is now, for the Euros. I'm going to go 2-1 away win for Villa for me. And next up at 2:05 on Sunday, we've got Spurs at home against Wolves. Spurs, what happened last week? A terrible away defeat against Leeds. And Wolves, I think, how did they get on? I think it was it was a win against Brighton. That's 3 wins.
9 men.
His 3 wins in their last 6. So tight one. You don't know what's going to happen with Spurs. They could blow other teams away, or they could completely capitulate. Hopefully Gareth Bale's on song. Maybe Kane can come up with a goal or 2, but I think it's going to be tight, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win to Spurs.
Interesting. I actually think it's going to be much tighter, and I think it's going to be 1-1.
Wow, a difference of opinion.
Yes, difference of opinion finally, just because Ryan Mason, with the lack of experience, that does concern me against someone like Nuno Espirito Santo. But the thing is with Wolves, when you look at the teams that they've played recently, they've only beaten the likes of Fulham, Sheffield United and Brighton, who've been really struggling as of late.
Bottom of the table teams.
Even with a draw against West Brom, which I thought was a very poor result, in losing games heavily to Burnley, West Ham and certain teams like that, they need to turn it round. So I'm going to say 1-1 in this one, be very on the fence with it. Only if it was not, I think it could be a lot more than this for Spurs, but I'm staying on the fence. Next up, we've got West Brom, and they're going up against Liverpool. Liverpool, great form. West Brom down, relegated, second relegation for Big Sam, because he was relegated with Notts County beforehand, way back years and years ago. But Liverpool, they need to keep building strong for the end of the season. They can still actually make the top four, so they're going to keep pushing. 3-0.
3-0. And guess what? Telepathy is working great. I have also gone for a 3-0 away win.
Let me guess, you've gone 2-0 Everton.
We'll come to that soon. But 3-0 away win to Liverpool in this one. Trent Alexander-Arnold's actually coming into a bit of form with assists and goals, etc. West Brom dead and buried, unfortunately. Okay, 2 defeats in the last 6.
They could go above Fulham.
Isn't too bad, but this finished 1-1 earlier in the season at Anfield. But I think Liverpool, with the pace they've got on the break, they're going to carve out a 3-0 victory, even though Pereira's been very good for West Brom this season. But the final fixture of this game week in the Premier League, we've got Everton, the Toffees, coming up against hapless Sheffield United, the Blaze, bottom of the table. Takes place at 7 o'clock on Sunday, so this game week actually finishes on Sunday, which is great. No Monday night football. Everton in 8th position. There's a slight chance that they could get into Europe perhaps, so they're going to need to win this match. I think they will. James Rodriguez may be available for this fixture. It's currently being assessed, so I think this is going to be a straightforward win to the Toffees, 2-0.
Interesting. Well, I think Everton are currently in that Europa Conference League spot that's coming through, so that's just basically going to be the Everton or Wolves competition going forward. But once again, I've gone 2-0, haven't I? 2-0. Same as you.
Excellent.
Oh dear.
Super.
Anyway.
But that concludes our predictions for the week 36 of the Premier League. We've also got FA Cup final this weekend, and it's of course Chelsea against Leicester. Leicester beating Manchester United, and Chelsea recently beating Manchester City, which of course is going to be the Champions League final. So Nathan, how do you see this one going?
2-0 Leicester.
Really? You think Chelsea going to concede 2 goals?
Yes, I mean the last time that Leicester could have gone to Wembley was all the way back in 2010 when they lost a penalty shootout to Cardiff City. That was their last opportunity. I don't think they've had one since. And an interesting fact about it as well is that, well, they are the only Premier League team, of course, but they are also one of the only First Division teams who have won the top division of English football, but don't currently hold an FA Cup title.
No, I think they've been in some 4 FA Cup finals.
Yes, and have lost them all, and in knockout tournaments especially, they've never really been stronger in the cups. They have won the League Cup quite a few times, but not in the 21st century, and obviously they haven't had an opportunity to get to Wembley in 10 years when they lost the playoff semi-finals.
So you're going for a Leicester win?
I think Leicester are going to finally win something at Wembley. They're going to win their first ever FA Cup and finally win an FA Cup final, where their last one was all the way back in 1969.
Wow.
They're going to do it.
They beat Chelsea earlier in the season. The wide open spaces of Wembley could suit the game of Leicester getting behind that Chelsea rearguard. But Chelsea have been phenomenal since Tuchel has taken over. I think in the league they've only lost once in the last 6, which was that thumping at home against West Brom. I don't think they'll make that mistake again. That victory over Manchester City will give them immense confidence. They got the Champions League final coming up as well. They're in 4th position, so it's looking really good. I think that Chelsea are going to win the FA Cup, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to the Blues if they are playing in blue. I'm not sure who's playing in blue actually at Wembley.
Who knows?
We'll have to wait and see. Right, so that's it for this week, Nathan. Quickly though, do you have a nap of the week?
Yeah, simple one this one, even though I go for all the obscure ones. Aston Villa Crystal Palace.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to go for a Liverpool away win against West Brom.
Interesting.
In this one, they need to get into those Champions League or even Europa spaces. Before we go though, Nathan, is there going to be any live streams coming up?
We'll wait and see. To be confirmed at the moment.
Maybe the FA Cup this week?
Who knows? We'll wait and see.
It is a late kick-off, which again, it's not 3 o'clock, it's 5:15 on a Saturday.
Shocking.
Absolutely terrible. Dear oh dear. Let's have tradition back. Let's get that FA Cup final at 3 o'clock, please. But that is another story. Maybe another rant video. But Nathan, is there anything else you'd like to add before we go? No? Well, that's it for another week. We will be back next week for game week 37, where we'll be reviewing week 36 and bringing you the predictions tables as well.
Also, if anyone is wondering as well about the Championship review video that is now finished. Of course, we are currently waiting to see what the legal situation is at Derby before we know who's actually got relegated, because there's a chance that Wycombe could stay up.
Possibly, but yeah, we will bring that video very, very soon. It's not looking good from my point of view, apart from the relegation spaces. But once
Best
again,
year for me.
thanks for watching yet again. Thanks for tuning in, all your support. Remember to sub if you're not a subscriber. Hit the like button, and we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers, guys.